Now, for today, we're going to be thinking about sellers and we're going to be doing two things. So, let's first talk about selling a home in this COVID environment, right? This is a definitely COVID environment. COVID came, but life does not end, right? And we have to find a way to work around COVID, but still be safe and not get the disease. And COVID becomes very real when you start knowing people that suffered or died from COVID. And in March, when we first started hearing about COVID, I was like, okay, it's bad, but it won't come to where I'm at, right? Guess what? It's where I'm at now. So this is something that's very real and that we have to really take into account. And if you have to sell a home during this time, there's a lot of different things that we're doing now to sell a home during this COVID season, right? COVID has shaken the world's economy. The second part of 2020 was just crazy as we ended the first quarter. But what are some of the precautions you could take when you sell a home, selling a home during this thing? And what does the real estate landscape look like for 2021, right? What we don't know, right? But they are predicting a lot of different things. So it's important to understand that the U.S. real estate sector as a whole didn't fare anywhere near as badly as many members of the public would imagine. Yes, at the beginning of the pandemic, house sales virtually around to a halt, with many states seeing a drop in sales of over 33%. However, it's important to understand that while the amount of houses on the market dropped significantly during the early period of quarantines and closures, values themselves remained largely unaffected, right? As the year progressed, the housing market saw a resurgence of growth that hadn't been witnessed since the boom of 2005. So we are booming right now in the real estate sector. Whenever you see a lot of builders building, that's a sure indication that the market is strong because it's a lot of money to go out and develop a subdivision and then put all these different infrastructure in there and then build these homes. So whenever you see builders are building and you see new construction everywhere, that's a sure sign that the market is strong, and it definitely is showing us that right now, right? Before COVID struck Orlando or the Central Florida area, the housing market was in great health. So it was in great health. So we weren't going through a depression and then COVID hit. We had a very strong real estate market when COVID hit. So despite the fact that when March came, everything came to a screeching halt and everything kind of shut down, we still had a really good May, June, July going further down, right? March and April was probably our hardest hit. And also because the state was also shut down at that time, and the whole short-term rental market was shut down as well. So we weren't attracting any new people in our market. So that was a little bit different. So in November, sales in the Orlando area spiked 20.4% over the same time last year. And this is from ORA, which is the Orlando Regional Realtor Association. And they're the one that feeds through our MLS. So they know all the information, right? So the future outlook for Orlando, it looks bright for us and the state of Florida in general. With the rise of remote working and the slow death of the traditional office, young professionals are beginning to shift their focus away from cities that offer the best career opportunity towards parts of the country that promise a better standard of living and competitive tax rates. That's why a lot of people are moving out of New York. I moved out of New York too back in 2012. So Orlando is still a great area if you're thinking of selling. We're still in a very great market. As a matter of fact, right now, in some areas, we only have 1 month of inventory. That means we are short in homes that we're selling. The only part of Orlando right now, or the Orlando Central Florida area, that's actually feeling anything from COVID is going to be the short-term sector. And the reason for that is because there's no traveling, right? And in the short-term sector, a lot of our tourists that comes in, they definitely come and they are buying vacation homes and that kind of thing. Now we still have that going on, but we're only having the people that are in state. So we're having people moving from the north, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Chicago, Boston, anywhere that there's cold, and they're still coming here to buy. But the influx of foreigners, which would be the people from England, Canada, the Middle East, and all the European countries, all that great stuff, it's slowing down. So the short sale market is still selling. Vacation homes are still selling, but not at the pace of regular homes. Regular homes are selling faster and quicker. And the thing is too, guys, I got to point this out. Before COVID, it was very hard for a person that lived here, a regular resident, to buy a home in a short-term rental area because the tourists would just, they would just pick that up. Like they're coming down with cash and 50% down. Meanwhile, the regular buyers are coming in with a FHA mortgage, right? And if you present those two offers to a seller, obviously the seller is going to go with the people that's, investing more cash, right? Now, I think one of the reasons why the market is so aggressive too is because now the regular resident can actually buy where they want because they don't have that competing foreigners coming to compete with them in putting offers in. However, we still have an aggressive market and we're still getting multiple offers from people here and also people relocating. There's a strong amount of people relocating into Orlando still, in the Central Florida area, not just Orlando, still, even with the pandemic, because again, people are beginning to realize I don't have to be near my job. If I'm working virtually, I could be anywhere, right? So if you're a homeowner and you're looking to sell, one of the things you want to do when you do your staging for buyers to come in, you definitely want to make sure you're staging an office area or a workspace within your home. So when buyers are coming through looking, they could envision themselves working there, right? That's a new thing. And I just discovered that strongly today. You know how it's happening? You know it's happening, and we're in a virtual world, and children are being homeschooled and all that, but it doesn't really hit you. It kind of hit me today because I went to three different clients today, and all three of them, that was what was on their list. They were walking through the home. I could hear them, all three different people. They don't know each other, but each of them was trying to figure out where they would put the office area, where the kids would be able to do homeschooling, and and how would that flow with the house. That they were like, oh, maybe we could convert this room to an office, or maybe we could use this little nookie area for an office. So if you're thinking of selling a home and you're staging it out, or you're trying to get things ready, or even if you already have your home on the market, one of the things you may want to do is consider staging either if you could clear one room out if you don't need that room and create an office environment there, or create a little nook area, even if it's a table and a desk and a chair, and just put like a laptop on it or something like that. So people could envision that, because that's the new norm. Believe it or not, that's the new norm as well. That's the new norm. So we just touched a little bit on the vacation homes, right? So we are seeing an increase in vacation homes, but that is where we'll find the slowest. And it's not even, the slowest part of the vacation homes, honestly, are the townhomes and the condos, because the pool homes are still selling, because nobody wants to go to the clubhouse, nobody wants to go mingle with people and go in a pool. So the pool homes are still selling aggressively. um, the townhomes and the condos is where we're seeing the slowest movement. So if you're trying to sell a townhome or a condo, you're going to have to do special marketing on that, or you're going to have to present it in a very great light, especially if it's in a short-term rental area. Or this is one of the reasons why you want to stage it, because even with the vacation homes, people are now renting homes because they don't want to stay where they are. So they're getting away to rent a vacation home, but they still want to make sure they could still work, right? Because it's not like they're on semi vacation, right? Because they could work anywhere. So why stay in my house? I could go rent a vacation home. So when they go looking at the vacation homes, they also want to have an area where they could uh, do virtual work, and also bring the kids, and the kids are virtual learning, they're learning from school, so they want to have that area. So if you own a vacation home or a townhome or a condo, and you're staging it for renters, or you're staging to sell it, that's something you want to consider, right? That's going to be a big deal. I mean, I remember one time, well, still is, the kitchen and the bathroom sell the homes, right, for a lady. Now what's going to happen is most buyers are going to be looking for an area where they could have a virtual area. They're going to be looking for a home office. That's going to be huge. And even the builders are now building homes with a loft area, especially for two-story homes. They're building a loft area. For single-story homes, they're building a office, or they're building virtual spaces so people could envision themselves working from home. Because if you're going to be working from home, you want space, right? You want to, you want to be comfortable as if you're in the office, right? So that's playing big. Okay. So Walt Disney World and Universal put in thousands of staff on furlough and laying off sizable number of their workforce. Some neighborhoods in Orlando faced a bleak outlook back in the spring of 2020. While we're still seeing restrictions on international travel and the parks continue to operate on restricted timetables, the real estate market hasn't been impacted to any significant degree. And remember, guys, these sellers also have mortgages they have to pay off, right? So that's also a significant part of it. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, I would like for you to go ahead and just like our page, share this information with anyone that you think might learn from it. And also, if you could click that notification button, that way you'll know when we're on. So every time we're on, whether it be Tuesday or Thursday, or maybe I decide to come on for a quick talk with you guys, you'll know when we're on. So that's a great idea. And I can be reached at 407-791-4713. You could call or text me, because a lot of times I have people tell me, you did a great video, but you didn't share your contact information. So my name is Sandy Sills. It's there on the screen. I'm a licensed realtor here in Central Florida. I specialize in the entire Central Florida area. And I'm with Preferred Real Estate Brokers and with the Gift Group. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We put a lot of great information out. We're real estate agents, but we like to educate the consumer on what's going on. So we're very big on that as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you subscribe to our channel, or you like us on Facebook, and do the notification thing so you're notified when we're on the air again. So here is some adjusted home value during COVID in Orlando. Here is some figures for people who love figures. Our medium list price is $275. It's up 1.9% year on year. So if we compare 2019 to 2020, we can't compare 2021 as yet, even though we're in January, because the year is too soon. The median list price per square feet is $165. The medium sale price $277. The sale to list price ratio is 98.64, which means we are getting asking a little bit under asking price. That's the median, but a lot of times, in a lot of cases, we're getting over asking price for homes. The average time in the market is 57 days. And this is taking everything into consideration, not just one sector. So they're talking about condos, townhomes, short sale rental, long-term rental, the whole gamut. And that's what it was too. And at this point in time, for most residential neighborhoods, we only have a 30-day inventory, right? But as you go in the townhomes and condos and go more over in the areas of the vacation rental sector, then that's what caused that number to be 57. Our most expensive neighborhood is Lake Nona South, believe it or not. And the most affordable neighborhood is South Cimarron. And this is the only dealing in Orlando area. So we're not talking about the outskirts, we're talking about the Orlando area. And South Cimarron, the average price is $120, but obviously that would have to do with townhomes. And we're getting this stat from Realtor.com, so we're not just making it up, right? So let's talk about some practical steps that we could take if you're thinking of selling your home now during 2021, which we're going to be dealing with COVID. So what we do a lot of Zooming, and we're Zooming right now. But we do a lot of virtual showing. So instead of having buyers coming through your home, we do a lot of virtual showing, and we do the virtual showing through Zoom. We used to do, when we first started, we were doing FaceTime, but the thing is with FaceTime and Facebook, you have to be friends with the person, and you may not want to be friends with every buyer that's going to be coming to look at your property, right? You could also do WhatsApp, but I think in WhatsApp, you just have to have that person's contact information in your phone, and you could do it through WhatsApp as well. As professional real estate agents, we prefer to do Zoom, because we could Zoom through the phone, and all we need is your email address, and we Zoom it right through. So as a seller, you may want to encourage, you want to look for an agent that's going to be very literal in the virtual world right now, and that is going to be up in Zoom. Because oftentimes I'll call an agent to show a property, and I'll say I'm doing a virtual live Zoom showing, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. I have to explain it to them, right? So a virtual live Zoom showing would be a buyer call, they want to see a home. Maybe they're not even here. Maybe they're in another state, right? So all we got to do, set up a Zoom meeting with the homeowner through their agent, and send that buyer the link. And at the appointed time, let's say it was tonight at 7 o'clock, they go on their computer or on their phone, they click on the link, we connect, and we do a virtual live tour. We actually walk through the property with our phone, and they could see everything. They could ask questions. You could show them inside the refrigerator, inside the microwave, everything. Now, a lot of sellers will say, well, why don't we just do a virtual tour? The problem with the virtual tour is the virtual tour presents the home in the best light, and it really doesn't show the flow of the home the way the buyers want to see it. Also with a Zoom, we're able to open all the cabinets and show it to them. We're able to open the appliances, open the oven, open the refrigerator. Maybe they want to see what inside the cabinet look like. We get to go to the back of the property. We get to show them what's in the back of the property. If they're standing in a window in the back of the property, what are they looking at? We show them what's up the road, down the road, across the street. take them all the way around the property so they see what's on either side, what's in the front, what's in the back. They could hear the neighborhood. If it's a location where the house is close to heavy traffic, they could hear how noisy it is. So a live virtual tour is very important. So if you're thinking of selling a home that's in this market, in our COVID market, that's something I'll definitely encourage for sure, right? Big time and virtual. Of course, you want to make sure that your agent does a very professional virtual tour, right? And you also want to make sure that you do what is called a Matterport. A Matterport is somewhat of a 3D thing where you use the camera is walking you through. So as you go down the hallway, you could turn and it shows you all that great information. The only thing with that is a lot of people don't know how to use that correctly. So if you're a computer geek, of course you know how to do it. But if you're not, you don't. So when somebody calls for an appointment to show your home, one thing you could ask is, would your buyer mind if we did a virtual tour? Because if we do a virtual tour and the buyer liked the property, we could always make another appointment for them to come this time and actually see it, right? And for my out of state buyers, when I do a virtual tour with them, they typically put offers in. They typically put offers in, and a lot of times they'll come down for the home inspection, right? So they won't be here for the virtual tour. They figured if they like the home, they put the offer in. If the seller accepts it, then they could drive down from wherever they are in the state, and they could come during the home inspection. Now, some home inspectors are also doing virtual home inspection as well, right? And that will cut down on the amount of people coming through your home. Now, there is a little seller's kit I put together. And then the seller's kit is where we will have booties. So when somebody comes to your home, they could put booties on. We'll have hand sanitizers and wipes at the door. So when they come in, they put the booties on and they cleanse their hand before they start walking through the home with their buyers. They got to keep their buyers with them. You can't have people going out in all different directions of the house because you don't want too much touching. And we also put hand sanitizers throughout the home. So we'll have one at the door, we'll have one in the kitchen. If it's a big living room, we might have one in the living room. We'll have one in each bedroom because we want to make sure that people are sanitizing. And we have a little notice that says, please sanitize as you go through the home. So there's different sanitizing stations throughout the home, not taking away from the look of the home at all. Just place that sporadically around the home, and even one outside. If there's a deck or a deck table, we'll have one outside as well. So people are able to cleanse as they go. So because you got to go back in the house, right? Even if you're not there during the showing, once you come back home, you're wondering, I wonder how many things they touch, and do I need to sanitize the whole house and all that great stuff, right? So it's a great idea to have sanitizer throughout the home and wipes, and definitely have them put the booties on so that you don't have to worry about anything on the floor and all that great stuff, right? So that would be my significant tip. And then another thing is to encourage live virtual tours. A lot of builders now are encouraging live virtual tours. So that's a big deal. To promote the live virtual tour so people out of state, because there's a lot of people that's still buying from out of state that's not here. They're not here, but they're still doing live virtual tours. I do that like every week. Like today I had like two, tomorrow I have three. So I'm always doing live virtual tours because I encourage the buyers, especially if they're not especially if they're not here in state. I'm like, hey, we'll do a live virtual tour, take a look at the property. If it's something you like, then we could go deeper into it, right? So I definitely wanted to cover this because this is a concern for a lot of people. They're like, well, I'll think of selling when the market get back to normal. We have no idea when the market get back to normal, meaning when COVID goes away and you could do things normally. That don't typically happen. We don't know when that's going to happen. It's not typically happening now. It's going to take a while. Even with the new president coming in, it's still going to take a while. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. So if you're thinking of selling in this COVID market, you could still do so. You'll still get offers. People still do live virtual tours and they still put offers in after seeing the house through a live virtual tour because they see the pictures, they see the regular virtual tour. So by the time we get to a live Zoom call, they already know the layout of the house and they're literally telling us, hey, yes, I remember I saw this in the picture. Could you go ahead and open that for me so I could see exactly what it looks like? They're telling us what they want to see because they saw all those pictures already and they already know the footprint of the home, which is why they're either making the appointment for us to do a live virtual tour for them. So that's very, very important. Let me see if I could get back to where we were supposed to be in the first place. So let me minimize this screen and this should put us back here. So real quickly, I wanted to go through the 10 things you need to know before you hire an agent if you're thinking of selling in 2021. Okay. So we just covered some of the tips to consider if you're thinking of selling your home in 2021. We spoke about live virtual tours. Obviously, you want to have as many pictures as possible online. You want to do a regular virtual tour as well, and you want to do what we call a Matterport. Remember, we said the Matterport is where you do a 3D video in. It's like a 3D. It's like the camera kind of walk you through the layout of the home. A lot of builders are doing that. But if you're not very good on guiding the Matterport, you might not get the full effect of what you're trying to see, right? So once you do all that stuff online and somebody look through all that and they're interested in your home, then the next step would be for them to either come see it themselves or do what we call a live virtual tour. And we want to encourage live virtual tours because it puts less people in your home. So you have to also let your agent know if your home is already listed that if somebody call and they want to request a live virtual tour, you want to encourage that. Sometimes they might want to connect to the home Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi is very tricky and it works in different areas. So a lot of times, sometimes I have to ask the homeowner if it's okay for me to log into their Wi-Fi setting, so when I'm doing my live virtual tour, it works well. And that's something that you might want to know. Some people say yes, some people say no, but remember that once a person leave your house, they can't get back on your Wi-Fi, right? So, or even if you want to create a guest Wi-Fi password, so the agent can use the guest Wi-Fi password, just so they have a better virtual experience when they're doing their live virtual tours, because sometimes Wi-Fi gets very, very, very spotty. Of course, for our group, for my team, the gift group, we do a lot of live virtual tours. Very rarely, I think Zoom has gotten better because initially it was the Wi-Fi got so spotty, but now we haven't had much interruptions with that. But I always tell my home sellers or wherever it is, I'm sure in the home, we always tell them we might need to log into your Wi-Fi. Can we just have that information just for that showing? You could give us the guess, just in case we end up in a situation where the Wi-Fi gets spotty, because it's very frustrating when you're trying to watch something and it's spotty and you can't see it. And sometimes on your screen, you're thinking the buyer could see what you're seeing, and they're not. They're telling you, oh, the screen is frozen. So be very open-minded on that, because that's probably going to be our way of selling a home for a little bit longer than we want to expect. We also went through, oh, we want to have different sanitizers throughout the home, and a little sign saying, hey, remember to sanitize, or sanitize for your health, or any little note you want to leave there. So when they come in, they have maybe one in the kitchen, one in each bathroom, maybe one in the bedrooms, one outside. And then people get very peculiar too to touch things, right? So whenever you touch, like for me, whenever I touch a surface, if it's not in my house, my next immediate thought is, oh, I gotta sanitize my hands, right? So you may want to think about doing that as well. And remember we mentioned booties. You want to have, we give this to our sellers, right? We actually come with what we call the COVID kit, and we have the booties and the different sanitizers and the little signs, and we talk to our homeowners, and we decide with the homeowner where we should put those throughout the home to make it make sense, right? So that's what we do. So if your house is already listed, or you're thinking of listing your home and you're kind of scared, you want to actually use an agent that's going to be very COVID conscious and have different things in place for selling a home during COVID, because this is not regular times at all, at all. So we do our booties, our sanitizers, our wipes, and we completely encourage live virtual tours for sure. We completely encourage that. Even if they want to come back and see it in person afterwards, because sometimes people walk in a house and they're like, oh, I don't like this house. That's not what I want, right? But if your agent is doing the live virtual tour for this buyer, then you don't have to have the buyer and their husband or wife and kids. It's just the agent doing the tour throughout the home. And then if the buyer becomes really, really interested, then they could book an in-person appointment. Now, I'm not saying you should discourage in-person appointment. I'm just saying if it's at all possible to do a live virtual one before, and that's great. And most of the out-of-state buyers, anyway, that's what they're doing as well. Okay. So our video is getting a little bit lengthy, so we're going to go through this or maybe I should leave this for another time. Maybe I should do that. We spent a lot of time doing this. So next Thursday, we're going to be doing 10 things you need to know before you hire an agent. We're going to be looking at all 10 things that we need to know. I don't think I have enough time to go through this right now, and I don't want to rush through it because it's very important, especially during COVID. So we did cover the COVID segment big time. We did talk about what's going on in the Orlando market. if you're trying to sell. If you're thinking of selling and you're on the fence, I would encourage you to give us a call so we could actually go and set up a Zoom one-on-one call with you and go through what are some of the things we're doing to help you sell your house during COVID without anybody in your household hopefully getting affected with the disease, because we don't want that, nor do we want the virus to have it as well. So again, my name is Sandy Sills. I can be reached at 407-791-4713. I appreciate your time, and we are going to sign off as I speak. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you.